in the woods. The whispering woods hummed with an energy that mirrored Elara's quickening pulse. Kale's hand, calloused yet tender, intertwined with hers as they emerged from the ancient oak's embrace. The prophecy's weight, once crushing, now felt like a challenge to be conquered, a fire to be stoked. "We make our own fate," Kale murmured, his thumb brushing the pulse point at her wrist. His eyes, burning gold in the filtered sunlight, held a promise of defiance, of passion, of a love that would scorch the earth itself. Elara leaned into him, her body a vessel for the raw energy coursing through the forest. His scent, sandalwood and sun-baked earth, filled her senses, a grounding counterpoint to the heady magic swirling around them. "Then let us burn together," she breathed, her fingers tracing the contours of his sculpted chest. He groaned low in his throat, a sound that echoed the primal hunger in her own soul. Their lips met in a clash of fire and ice, a battle for dominance that dissolved into a symphony of need. His hands roamed her body, igniting a wildfire that licked at her skin, a hunger that mirrored her own. Elara arched into him, her fingers digging into his shoulders as he lifted her, her legs wrapping around his waist. He carried her to a bed of moss, their bodies entwined as they sank into the soft embrace of the forest floor. The scent of pine mingled with the musk of their desire, the air heavy with unspoken promises. He devoured her with a passion that bordered on desperation, his lips leaving a trail of fire on her skin. She met his every thrust with a ferocity that matched his own, their bodies a blur of movement, a dance of raw, primal need. Their climax shattered the stillness of the woods, a symphony of gasps and moans that echoed through the trees. Spent, they lay entwined, the rhythm of their breaths slowing as the echoes of their passion faded into the whispers of the leaves. But even as they found solace in each other's arms, the fires of rebellion raged elsewhere. In the Shadow Clan's encampment, warriors sharpened their blades, their hearts burning with righteous fury. And in the Solaris Palace, Seraphina's cruel smile twisted wider, her fingers tracing the sharp edges of her ambition. The storm was coming, and it would leave no one unscathed. Meanwhile, in the palace, Seraphina's laughter echoed through the dimly lit chamber, a chilling melody that sent shivers down Lysandra's spine. The firelight danced in Seraphina's eyes, illuminating the predatory hunger that lurked beneath her composed facade. "Oh, my dear Lysandra," Seraphina purred, her voice a silken caress that belied the malice in her words. "You underestimate my ambition. Elora's demise is but a single thread in the intricate tapestry I weave." She trailed a finger down Lysandra's bare arm, leaving a trail of gooseflesh in its wake. "The Shadow Clan's uprising is a gift, a diversion that will keep Kale occupied while we tighten our grip on the Empire." Lysandra's eyes widened, a flicker of excitement igniting within their depths. "Tell me your plan," she breathed, her voice husky with anticipation. Seraphina's lips curled into a cruel smile. "We will strike at the heart of the Shadow Clan, their most vulnerable point." Her gaze darkened, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Their children." Lysandra gasped, a surge of adrenaline coursing through her veins. The sheer audacity of Seraphina's plan was intoxicating. "We will take them," Seraphina continued, her voice a venomous hiss. "We will hold them hostage, leverage them against Elara and her warriors. It will be their undoing." Lysandra leaned closer, her breath mingling with Seraphina's. "And then?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Seraphina's eyes glittered with a dangerous light. "Then, my dear Lysandra," she said, her voice dripping with venom, "we will watch the Shadow Clan crumble from within, their spirit broken, their rebellion extinguished. And when the dust settles, we will be the ones left standing, the true rulers of this empire." Thrill of anticipation surged through Lysandra. She reached out, her fingers tracing the sharp angles of Serafina's face. "You are a force to be reckoned with," she murmured, her voice laced with a newfound respect. Serafina leaned into her touch, a predatory smile playing on her lips. "And you, my dear Lysandra," she purred, "are my most trusted weapon." Their lips met in a kiss that was both passionate and ruthless, a taste of the power that awaited them. As they clung to each other, the flames in the hearth crackled and danced, casting long, ominous shadows on the walls, a silent testament to the darkness that was about to be unleashed. Lysandra pulled back from the kiss, her eyes smoldering with a newfound hunger. "I have a gift for you, my queen," she purred, her voice a low, seductive rumble. She clapped her hands twice, a sharp sound that echoed through the chamber. From the darkest corner of the chamber, a figure emerged, its silhouette rippling with muscle and fur. The firelight glinted off a single golden eye, the other half of its face masked in shadow, revealing a grotesque fusion of man and beast. This was the Minotaur, Serafina's most prized possession, a creature of raw power and unbridled lust. The Minotaur approached the bed, its heavy hooves thudding against the marble floor. Its nostrils flared, inhaling the scent of arousal that permeated the room. Its gaze, a single burning ember, locked onto Lysandra, who met its stare with a mixture of fear and fascination. Serafina's lips curved into a wicked smile. "This is my loyal hound," she said, her voice a silken thread woven with steel. "He will show you pleasures you never dreamed of." She gestured towards Lysandra, her eyes glinting with predatory amusement. "Take her," she commanded, her voice a whip crack that echoed through the chamber. Lysandra's eyes widened with a mixture of fear and excitement. She had never experienced anything like this before, the raw, primal energy of this creature igniting a fire within her that she never knew existed. The Minotaur lunged forward, its powerful arms encircling Lysandra's waist. He wasted no time, its hands roaming over her body with a rough urgency. It tore away the remnants of her clothing, leaving her bare and exposed to its hungry gaze. Its claws raked across her skin, leaving trails of fire in their wake. With a single, effortless motion, it lifted her from the bed, her body a pale offering against its dark fur. Lysandra cried out, a sound that was both a plea and a surrender. The Minotaur's touch was rough, its body heat searing her skin. But there was also a strange thrill, a dangerous allure to its primal power. As the Minotaur carried her towards the shadows, Lysandra glanced back at Serafina. The queen's eyes burned with a hungry fire, her lips curved into a knowing smile. Lysandra cried out, her voice a mix of pain and pleasure. The Minotaur's touch was brutal, yet it ignited a spark of wildness within her, a yearning for the forbidden and the unknown. "Lysandra," Serafina breathed, her voice thick with arousal. "You never cease to amaze me." Serafina hesitated for only a moment before discarding her own clothes. Lysandra and the beast moved as one, their bodies a symphony of strength and grace as they approached her. Lysandra's hands reached out, his fingers tracing the delicate contours of Serafina's body, while the beast nuzzled, its fur brushing against her sensitive skin. Moans and growls filled the chamber as the bodies intertwined, a tangle of limbs and passion. Serafina surrendered to the primal urges that surged through her, her fingers digging into the Lysandra's back as she claimed her with a fierce possessiveness. Minotaur's raw power reflected into its touch as it explored every inch of her with a hungry tongue. The fire in the hearth roared, casting flickering shadows that danced on the walls, a silent witness to the erotic spectacle unfolding within the chamber. The air throbbed with the scent of sweat and musk, a heady aroma that fueled their insatiable desires. As the night wore on, their bodies became a canvas for their passions, their skin marked with the evidence of their uninhibited pleasure. In that moment, they were not queen and consort and beast, but simply beings consumed by a primal need, their souls intertwined in a dance of ecstasy and surrender.